Hi and welcome to me talking about anime. Because I'm making a video about me talking about anime. Because the unfortunate truth is that I don't have many friends. And the amount of friends that I can sit down with and debate and yap about anime with is even smaller. It's pretty much just my brother. But my brother's older and way cooler than me, so he can't, talk about anime with me all the time, but I have so many thoughts that I just want to get out. So I figure, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna start recording, yap about anime and all of the things that I want to talk about, but don't really have anyone to talk about them with. So I have some talking points that I wanted to go over. So I'll probably just be talking about that and working on my jigsaw puzzle a little bit, maybe because I'll probably get distracted talking about anime. So, we'll just get right into it. So, yeah, I'm probably not going to do this jigsaw puzzle. Sometimes I will post my thoughts about whatever I'm watching on Tumblr. But Tumblr's not really like a social media. Like you can have 6 followers and have a post blow up overnight. It doesn't even matter. But the reason I can't post about this one is because I'm not done with it and I'm trying to avoid spoilers, which I don't always do, but for some reason this one I don't want to know anything. But that's all the preface to say that ReZero is the darkest anime I have seen so far. And I don't think it's even particularly close either. I mean, I'm quite a few anime deep. I'm still kind of I'm on my anime renaissance starting October 2023, and the vast majority of my anime I get from my brother. My older brother is going to be mentioned quite a lot in this video, probably. Um, da, 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 da. So, okay, well, I'm about 20 anime deep, I want to say. And I've watched some. Okay, well, I've watched Death Note, I've watched Maggie Madoka, I've watched Attack on Titan, and still, I feel like none of them even hold a candle to how dark ReZero is. And for context, I'm just beginning the third season in the water city. Um, and let me say this. I am a Wump lover through and through. That's my genre. That's my favorite. Like obviously if you read fan fiction, you can read anything and everything and whatever you want. But I feel like all of us have our our genre that we live in, what we call our home, almost like a Hogwarts house almost. Mine is Wump. I love Wump so much. I love having my favorite characters get the shit beat out of them. It's my favorite thing. I love nothing more. But with that said, as a Wump lover through and through, even I feel so unbelievably terrible for Natsuki Suguru. It's it's insane. And what upsets me is that I'll be I'll be live blogging this to my brother about oh my god, this is what's happening and this is horrific. Oh my god. Why did you not warn me about how dark this was when you recommended me to watch this? And he's like, I don't know, I don't remember it being that dark. And I'm like, do you not remember Natsuki had being betrayed by someone he thought he trusted, then being thrown in a dungeon, and then he wakes up in a wintry wasteland. Everyone he knows is dead, and then he gets eaten alive by rabbits. Like they sever his arm, and then they sever his leg, and then they eat him alive. And they're taking bites out of him and he's wailing and screaming in agony the entire time and it's the worst thing ever. And then he has to wake up and just act like everything's fine. Like the angst part of me loves it, but god, I also hated the fact that he has to watch not the love of his life, but who she thinks is the love of his life, Rem get her body twisted around like a fucking rag doll. She's brutally mangled and mutilated, and then he like carries her dead body through the same through a similar wintry wasteland, and Rom has her like head bashed in with an axe, and then his head literally gets sliced clean off, and he also like sees like a 10-year-old girl crushed under some rubble, and then he wakes up and just has to be fine. Like even in the trial chamber, I think it was after he got eaten alive by rabbits, he woke up in the trial chamber and got sick, and like how could you blame him? Oh my god, it's brutal. And like this is coming from someone who like I used to have a friend that we would watch a lot of dark movies with. We watched Hostel, and we watched The Antichrist, and I've seen all the Saw movies, and like yeah, gore, blah 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 blah. But for some reason, ReZero is just oh my god. I took a break in between seasons. I came back to season three, and I think another part of what makes it so horrifying is that it always tends to happen so quickly. Like Natsuki on a stairwell. And then within 20 seconds, he goes up and he tries to help the kid. And then the Archbishop of Wrath, like, takes that spiked chained noose and throws it around his neck. And he obviously tries to grab it, but then she shoves him off the stairwell. And then because he's like grabbing onto it, when the slack hits, it literally chops all of his fingers off, and he's like crying blood, and there's blood coming from his nose and mouth, and he's choking on the noose, and then it drops even further, and just a whole new wave of agony comes over him, and then he just has to be fine. He just has to be fine. He just ha- he's living a nightmare. This man is living a actual nightmare. I cannot believe it. It's horrifying. There's just so many layers that make it so bad because this is like a whole new world for him, and like the first people he tends to care about, the people in the mansion. Rem is the one trying to kill him. Betrayal. He oh my god, and the ways he dies is so brutal. And he can't tell anyone, which is even worse because time loops already inherently mentally draining, isolating, consuming. He can't tell anyone until he gets to Echidna and finally has like that breakdown about like, oh my god, I thought I was gonna be doing this alone forever. And then Echidna does that weird thing. She tries to like make a deal with him, and also something about Witch's Tea Party harder to get into with every time you visit it. And then by the end of season two, it's like, all right, Kidna says bye. All right, back to doing it by yourself. Good luck. And then the next time I don't think the next time, but one of the next times he dies, he gets his fingers chopped off by a spiked chain noose. And there's also just like, poor Natsuki Suru, there was no escape for him. Because, like, every time loop movie, every time loop story, eventually you get out. You know, Groundhog Day, he eventually kisses the girl. The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, they eventually get out. Happy Death Day, she eventually solves the mystery. Natsuki Subaru there's nothing he can do about this. This man could give it all up, go into the woods and become a hermit for the rest of his life. There was no escaping this. This is the rest of his life, just in a time loop, multiple time loops, that he's dying all the time. And the season 3 one especially felt so hard because like there was that one or 2 year time skip, and supposedly, I'm under the impression that he didn't die during that entire time. So when he got like brainwashed and watched that poor kid get thrown off of a tower, and then he wakes up and he has to be fine. That was the face. This is the face of a man who was not expecting to die. He had his guard down. Hold on. This is the face of a man who hadn't used Return by Death for quite a while, and hoping he probably didn't have to again. He's suffering! This. I'm convinced he fucking died in that convenience store parking lot, and this is hell. ReZero is hell. That is a. He is living a absolute nightmare. I could not. There are very little things that I could think of that would be any worse than what Natsuki Subaru is going through in this story. It's horrifying. Oh my god. And it's just like sometimes it's so quick and sometimes it's so drawn out. Like in season 2, when he's just like stumbling through the mansion, bleeding from his eyes, and like both Rem and Rom. Oh no, because Rem is sleeping. Rom's dead. The little girl's dead, crushed by the rubble, and like he has no way to die, like right off the bat. So he's just like walking through the mansion, just in abject horror. Because like at least in Groundhog Day, if he wanted to kill himself, he could like choose, make some steps to do that. But Natsuki Subaru is just like, oh, you thought you were making progress? Slice you in half. Too bad. Sucks to suck. I just needed to talk about this because I would live blog this to my brother. And he's like, I don't remember ReZero being that dark. I'm like, are you sure? This is the worst thing ever. This is the worst thing I could ever think of. So yeah, ReZero is the darkest anime I've seen so far. Like Death Note, at least you have someone to like root against. And also, like the vast majority of the deaths are very impersonal. It's just like, oh, this politician that's evil, he deserved it. Whatever. We never met that guy. We don't even know his fucking name. Maggie Madoka, I will say, Homura also has it pretty bad. She also has it pretty bad, but I still think Natsuki Subaru has it worse. But like even if you're watching Maggie Madoka, you at least have the comfort of cute anime girls, I guess. Like not even that much blood, and you had the comfort of anime girls. Attack on Titan is interesting because any pain in the anime would kind of like hit real quick, and then we gotta move on. Like we're dealing with a whole war over here. We don't have time to mourn that one guy that got eaten by a titan. We got like other shit we gotta take care of. Versus ReZero, it's so it's so heavy. It just sits just with him all the time, so gory and dark, and that's just the rest of his life. It's depressing. Even as a Wump and Angst lover, it's a little hard to watch at times. Just him going through all that. It's, it's the worst. It's the worst ever. Anyway, on to our next talking point. The Demon Slayer movie rocked and rolled. But it inspired me, not inspired me, but like I took another look at people's Hashira rankings. Yes, we're doing one. Forgive me. Because I feel like they're all so wrong. They're all so wrong. I'm so sick of people putting my goat at like 7 or 8 because it's just not true. There's so many people just making shit up that I just think is objectively not true. So I made my own ranking. That obviously there's no one right answer, but I feel like mine is better than most. So this is my ranking and we're gonna go through it. I hope that's not backwards in the video. It's okay, I'll read them out. Guillaume and Tsunemi. I feel like pretty indisputable. I mean, even Inosuke said canonically that he knows that Guillaume is the strongest of the Demon Slayer Corps. And yes, but like, when you talk about a Hashira ranking, what are we talking about? Because the strongest Hashira, that's already canonically ranked. That was in the first or second fan book. We know that. But like, the best Hashira in what? This is what I think of, like, in terms of being a Hashira and how good they are at being a Hashira and defeating demons. But Guillaume and Tsunemi, pretty indisputable 1 and 2. Guillaume, beheaded Muzan in like 5 seconds. Got through the upper one fight. Good for him. And Tsunemi, even upper one was like, how the fuck are you still alive? I feel like I don't have to talk much about these two. I feel like these are pretty indisputable. I feel like the vast majority of Hashira rankings also go like this. I don't have to talk about it that much. But number 3, yes, seems crazy. Hear me out. Muichiro, my goat, number 3. Why? Because I feel like people are not giving him enough credit for soloing Upper 5 by himself. And people are like, I don't care. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. You can call it plot armor all you want. You can call it Demon Slayer Mark power up all you want. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. The fact is that Muichiro soloed Upper 5 by himself, and he's 14. It doesn't matter what you think. That's objectively amazing. There's, there's no arguing that. You can't argue. You can't argue with me. That's what happened. You saw it. It doesn't matter what you think about it. It's canon. It happened. It was written into the manga and animated. Doesn't matter. That's exactly what happened. And he's 14! He's 14. Imagine what he would have been like if he was like 21. This man. And he became a Hashira in 2 months. When people are ranking Muichiro, they just, I don't know, maybe they just don't care. Maybe they just forget. I think people are undermining his accomplishments very much because everyone else except Zenitsu, who fought in Upper Moon, as far as I remember, except for Rengoku maybe too, at least had help. Tengen did not defeat Upper 5 by himself because like Inosuke and Zenitsu were fighting Daki, he wouldn't have been able to do it without Tanjiro. Um Upper Moon 1, he needed like 4 people to fight him. Upper Moon 2 took 3 people. You know who didn't need any help? Because like Tengu, they needed um Genya, Nezuko, Tanjiro, and then even by the very end, Mitsuri was fighting like a whole half of. That's what pisses me off about Tengu. You know what? Side tangent. Tengu was the worst Demon Slayer character ever. I hate him so much because think about it. Every demon, every demon, pretty much every demon in the series, cut off their head, it's done, it's over. Rui, cut off his head, bye bye. Gyutaro and Daki did have that like weird, you gotta do it at the same time shit, but you behead them both, it's done. You cut Enmu's head off, you're done. Let's think about it. So upper 6, if you cut both their heads off, done. Upper 5, Muichiro cuts his head off, he's done. Akaza caveat, if you cut off his head, he should be done. That whole regenerated because he wants to be stronger thing, not fair. I call bullshit. It's fine, but also like cutting off his head, let's let's be reasonable. That should have killed him. The whole regenerating thing, that's special. We don't need to worry about that. If it like if he was if upper three was literally anybody else, cutting off his head would have done it. But it was Akaza, so it doesn't matter. If it was anybody else, cutting off his head would have done it. Doma, that was different. Kokushibo, yeah, that did it too. You know who doesn't matter? Upper four. Because he gets his main body inside of his body. He gets four clones, and then his clones can become another clone and becomes like five huge ass dragon heads. And that's not fair at all, because every other demon and even the upper moon surrounding him cut off their head, they're done. But Hantengu gets his special whatever the hell. My win condition is you have to fight five different freaking five boss phases. I don't care. But the reason I bring that up is because Tanjiro, yes, beheaded Hantengu, but Hantengu also had, like, Mitsuri fighting all the way over there. She was fighting, like, a whole phase of his boss all by herself. You know who didn't have any help? Muishiro. No help whatsoever. Haganeska didn't help. Kotetsu did nothing. Yeah, he he inspired Muichiro in a way to get out of the water prison, but Gyoko took no damage to literally anybody. Nobody made a scratch on him. Nobody helped him defeat Gyoko except himself. Muichiro soloed that bitch. He didn't need no help whatsoever. So I'm tired of people undermining my boy and how goated he is. And then the list gets kind of difficult. I put Tengen at number 4 because Gyutaro with one arm and one eye. What else can I say? He's awesome. I don't know. These 4, 5, and 6 are kind of hard to talk about. Gyu cool, Demon Slayer Mark, Akaza. I do find it really interesting about Tengen though how he didn't awake his Demon Slayer Mark because he didn't think he was gonna lose. But I can't put him above. A lot of people put Tengen at 3 or even 2 or something. But think about it, and this is what my brother brought up to me. Tengen lost the first time. He lost. The only reason he was able to get back up and eventually defeat Gyutaro with help, which Muichiro didn't fucking need, is because Gyutaro didn't finish him off. But if Gyutaro decided to just like slice him one more time just for good measure, then Tengen, goodbye. Goodbye. But, credit for surviving that. Pretty cool. One arm and one eye. Pretty awesome. He's the fastest Hashira. Um, but yeah, you don't get to see a lot of him other than Entertainment District, which oh, I was gonna save this for when I'm talking about Rengoku, but Demon Slayer feels so short. Even though I know it's not really, but it feels so short to me. Or is it short? Is 205 chapters short for a finished manga? I'm not really sure. No, I don't really know. But we don't get to spend a whole lot of time with any of them in particular. That's why I find it hard to ship anyone in Demon Slayer because we don't really know anything about these characters. Like, yeah, we get their backstory, but like, how are you supposed to ship Rengoku and Tanjiro? They've shared like a few sentences between each other. Like, I have a friend that's dead set on Rengoku being the number one Hashira, but I'm like, how can you say that? We've only seen him do one fight, which I would be. Rengoku's fucking awesome. I would be happy to put him higher if I had any more proof, but all I can go off of is him versus Akaza, and then he's fucking dead, and then that's it. It just, especially after we meet the Hashira, it feels like it goes so quick. No downtime at all. We have like all of season one kind of goes by in a blur, at least to me, and then Hashira meeting, and then Mugen Train, Entertainment District, Swordsmith Village, all upper moons, and then we have our itty bitty Hashira training arc, and then Infinity Castle, and then everyone fucking dies, and then it's just like, how am I supposed to care about how Shinobu and Giyu would get along when they're all the only interaction we ever see between them is Shinobu being like, "Everybody hates you, Giyu. Did you know that everybody hates you, including me?" And Giyu's like, "I don't think that's true. Why would you say that?" And like, how are you supposed to ship them when that's all we know about him? So that's what I think. Um, yeah, Tengen pretty cool. We didn't get to see him do much, but what we did see was hella impressive. My brother did say putting Tengen this high is kind of nuts and bolts, but I think compared to everybody else, I couldn't put him above Giyu, or I did put him above Giyu. I couldn't put him below Giyu because I don't know. This whole middle of the list is kind of difficult. Gyu versus Akaza. Gyu awakening his Demon Slayer mark against Akaza. Best part of the movie, in my opinion. It was awesome. Rengoku, I originally had at the very bottom, believe it or not. And for the most part, it was the reason of like, we don't really know. We barely got to see anything of him. But my friend, the one who wants Rengoku to be number one, did point out that Rengoku's worst matchup was Akaza. Like, he couldn't have had a worse matchup at all. There's no possible worse matchup for him. And he still held Akaza down until sunrise. However, there's problems to this. Anything good you want to say about Rengoku does have a debunk to it. Like, yes, Rengoku held off Akaza until the sunrise, but think about it. It wasn't all night. Like, it was already night when the train started, and then everybody was asleep for a while, and Tanjiro had to do his Enmu thing. And by then, already a few hours have passed. It's not like Rengoku was fighting off Akaza all night. He only had to do it for I don't even know how long, but it wasn't all night, so it's not like he held off that long. And the tragic thing is that even if Rengoku did behead Akaza, then he wouldn't have won, which sucks. That sucks so bad. Because he could have regenerated his head. Because the only reason that they defeated Akaza is because it was Giyu and Tanjiro. Or maybe Giyu didn't really have anything to do with it. Maybe it could have been another Hashira. But the reason he didn't regenerate his head is because of what Tanjiro said, because of they were fighting. But if him fighting Rengoku, that would not have happened. He would not have gave up because it had to be what Tanjiro said to him, and that just simply wouldn't have happened when he was fighting Rengoku. So that was unfortunate. And then he fled the scene, and then he fled the scene like a coward, and yeah. But what he did do, pretty impressive. I do like that he can swing his blade faster than the eye can see. That's pretty cool. And yeah, I wish we got more of him because he's cool. And I wanted more of him. But Demon Slayer moved so fast. It's not fair. You know what? It's not fair. They could have had Rengoku retire. Actually, no, that wouldn't have worked because Set Your Heart Ablaze, his guard. But back to Muichiro really quick. That's just not fair. I don't understand why four people came to fight Kokushibo and he didn't get to live. I don't understand why three Hashira went to go fight him and he's the only Hashira that didn't get to live. Yes, Genya died too, but like he brought a gun. He brought a gun to fight Upper Moon 1 and then got sliced in half. Like, no shit, that was gonna happen. Plus any character development or something. But Muichiro, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Something about I read someone online talking about how mist breathing is all about like obscuring where you are, and then Kokushibo has a bunch of eyes, so bad matchup. But it's not fair. Why? It's not fair. The two best Hashira were there, and they both got to live. They both got to live past the Kokushibo fight. And Moichiro Plus, plus another thing about Moichiro being a number three, they would not have killed Upper Moon One without him. It just wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened because he made his blade red, and then which which is the only reason Kokushiba died. Because if he didn't do that, Kokushiba would have lived, and it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. I don't understand why three Hashira went to go fight him, and Moichiro, the one who made or braid the fight, he didn't get to live. It's not fair. Anyway, Shinobu's number seven. Hear me out. Hear me out. Too many people putting Shinobu at number nine, and I see why. I see why. Sheep brained. You see, oh, she's the weakest Hashira. She has to use poison. Oh, she's the weakest. No. Think about it. Think about it for a second. All right. Here, consider this. All of the stronger demons, like starting from lower one even. No, starting from freaking lower five. When demons are stronger, they will just like straight up break blades. There's been times where like Tanjiro's trying to slice a demon's head off and then it just breaks because their necks are just like, I don't know, they're just so hard. They're just so tough. So even if you have a regular sword, it's hard to behead a demon, a strong demon, a 12 Kizuki demon. Shinobu, weakest of the Hashira, and with a fancy non-sliceable sword, managed to pierce Doma's neck, thrusting forward, not only forward, but up into the sky against gravity. Think about that. That was pretty cool. She has what seems to be the fastest attack in all of Demon Slayer, which is her centipede form. And damn, what a cool fight. I was so excited to see. It's such a shame. It's such a shame she got absorbed, even though it's cool that she was literally consumed by revenge. But I was excited to see Shinobu fight Doma because she had business to attend to, just like Zenitsu. I was like, Shinobu gets to fight Doma? Oh, that's sick because she has business with him. She got business to do. Yes, she uses poison. So what, man? So what? Shinobu goaded. Shinobu goaded. She's also smart. She's also smart. Think about that. Some of the other Hashira are dumb. She's smart. Anyway, I think you guys need to think a little bit more about how cool Shinobu is, and she's not number nine just because you saw weakest Hashira and just decided to go with that. Shinobu not number nine. She's stronger than you think. Um, she's so cool. She's so agile, and yeah. It's my biggest thing is her managing to land that many hits on Doma. Even Doma was impressed. You know, you know who didn't get any compliments from Upper Moons? Mitsuri and Obanai. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Mitsuri and Obanai are bad, but because Mitsuri She did rip an arm off of Muzan with her bare hands. That is awesome. I put Obanai at number 9, and here's why. As as with many of my reasons and the reasons for many Hashira rankings, we only see so much of them. And the things we've seen Obanai do ob- objectively not as impressive as the rest of them. What did Obanai do? He threw himself he saved Tanjiro's life like 5 times in the final battle by like throwing himself of um in front of Tanjiro when Muzan was about to chomp him, get Tanjiro absolutely chomped. However, the only reason that Obanai still had the stamina to jump in front of Tanjiro and get absolutely chomped instead of him is because Obanai didn't do shit. These two, up until the Muzan fight, didn't do shit. They didn't even touch Nakime. I mean, like, yeah, you can argue like, oh, but they were tired from running around and chasing Nakime around because, like, the entire first movie they were running around, which is hilarious. They didn't they literally just running the entire time. They didn't do anything. Um, but consider that they were probably both, I feel like it's a safe assumption that they were both using total concentration constant because they are Hashira, and Shinobu literally said that total concentration constant is one of the most elementary skills a demon slayer has, which makes his stamina to jump in front of Tanjiro a little less impressive. I do give him points for fighting that well with only one functioning eye. And I am insanely impressed that, also considering that he only has one eye, not only is he able to keep himself safe in combat, but he also keeps his snake safe in combat. He's protecting 2 people. So, well, not people, but you know what I mean. It's impressive that he's keeping his snake safe. But I think his contributions are not as cool as the others. Like Mitsuri gave up. Mitsuri was about to give up against Hantengu. So I see people putting Mitsuri uh in the middle, and I don't know. You know who didn't give up against an upper moon? Muichiro. He didn't. He didn't. Tengen didn't give up against an upper moon. Rengoku also didn't give up. Points for Rengoku for not losing that fight. He did lose, but no, he did lose. He did lose that fight. I mean, yeah, Rengoku did lose that fight. He did lose that fight. I don't see how you could put him at number 1 when he lost that fight. Okay, so there's so much you could do about this. I love arguing about the Hashira ranking because there's so much you can do with it. Like Muichiro number 3, there's no changing my mind. And I can argue all day about why Shinobu's not number 9, but I love arguing about the Hashira rankings because there are so many different ways you can go about it. There's a lot of things to consider, but here's what I think. I think it goes Guillaume and Tsunemi, indisputable. Muichiro, because everybody's undermining his achievements, soloing an upper fight at 14 years old, and they could not have won against Kokoshibo without him. Tengen, one arm, one eye, Gyutaro. Um, yeah. Gyu, points for surviving. He's one of the only survivors. Gyu, you know what? Maybe I should have put Gyu at number 4. No, but I am happy with Gyu at 5 because he went off during Infinity Castle. Akaza fight, he went crazy, and then he helped immensely during the final Muzan battle. And then um And then when Tanjiro turned into the demon, somehow still got up and tried to fight him. That's the most impressive part to me, is that he was like, everybody who can still stand, get up and fight. Brother, I don't think there's anyone left. It's like just you. It's just you and then Zenitsu and Inosuke. And pretty much everyone else was out for the count. But Gyu fought Akaza upper three, and then still managed to fight Muzan, and then still managed to fight Demon Tanjiro. So big points to Gyu for that. Rengoku, because he managed to hold off his worst matchup for that long, and that's honestly the only thing I can say about it. Shinobu, because um people are also undermining her thrusting ability, and it's pretty cool. And yeah, she did so much better against Upper Moon 2 than anybody would have thought. And she's awesome. Mitsuri gave up against Hantengu. Didn't even have to fight all of Hantengu. She just fought literally one part of his phase. But she did rip an arm off of Muzan. Obanai did objectively nothing anywhere near as cool as anybody up here, but he does fight pretty well with only one eye and does protect his snake. But this ranking has gone a little out of hand, and I still have one more talking point that I wanted to talk about. And that last talking point is that Windbreaker is not a reskinned Tokyo Revengers, it's a hoax. And if you actually think that, I need you to take your head out of your Draken worshipping asshole. It's not. And anybody who thinks that is just going into Windbreaker wanting to hate it, which, believe it or not, I get. I get it. I wanted to hate Windbreaker when I watched it too, which is strange because I'm a general enjoyer. Both me and my brother are very general enjoyers. Like, I'll walk out of a movie that was rated 5.1 on IMDb and be like, yeah, I liked it. I had a good time. Very low standards. I don't have many criteria. I'm not very critical. I kind of enjoy stuff just to watch stuff. I went into Windbreaker thinking that I was gonna make fun of it, that it was stupid because he told me that like it was about a delinquent going to a delinquent school and then fighting worse delinquents. I was like, what the fuck? That's so stupid. And then I went in watching it thinking that I was gonna make fun of it and that it was gonna be stupid. And then it actually turned out to be really sweet and powerful and have some really good messaging that I really resonated with. I really liked it. So I get it. I thought I wasn't gonna like Windbreaker when I started watching it either. But if it, but that's why I like it so much. That's why it's like top two, maybe even my favorite animes that I went into it thinking I wasn't gonna like it, but it managed to turn me around on it. So I just hold the utmost respect to it. But Tokyo Revengers and Windbreaker genuinely have so little in common. They have like nothing in common. Like, oh, the Windbreaker's just a worse Tokyo Revengers. How? They have nothing in common. You can say they have gangs in common, but they also very obviously use gangs in two very different terms. Because like Revengers is like 100 people gangs, like citywide. They're talking about like actual like organizations and like I don't know much about gang stuff, but they're very obviously talking about like gangs. Delinquents in Windbreaker is a group of teenage boys liking to go around and cause mischief for fun and then get their asses kicked in. Two very different kinds of gangs. You know, Windbreaker doesn't have time travel in it. Think about that. Um, No death in Windbreaker either, as far as I remember. No death, except for Umamiya's parents, but orphans. There are orphans in Windbreaker. That's like no active dying in Windbreaker. You know what does have active dying in it? Tokyo Revengers. Also think about it, if you have animes that are reskins, which there are a few of, but you don't even have to say reskins, even things in the same genre, like Asta is your Luffy. They like have their counterparts. There's no counterparts in Tokyo Revengers and Windbreaker. There is no Tokyo Revengers version of Tsubaki, and there's no Windbreaker version of Mikey. They genuinely have so little in common. And I mean, I've watched both of them. I've watched both of them. They have nothing in common. They like in the which is weird is that Tokyo Revengers does remind me of some other anime, but you know what anime never crossed my mind when watching Tokyo Revengers? Windbreaker. They're nothing alike. I don't understand why anyone would even put them anywhere within like 50 feet of each other. It doesn't make any sense. So if you think that they're the same and Windbreaker is just a Tokyo Revengers reskin, I need you to reconsider because they have actually like nothing in common. And Windbreaker is also really good, and you can take my word for it because I thought it was gonna be bad, but it turned out to be good. And if it convinced me, it can convince you. You're going in with preconceived notions that are wrong. They're just not the same at all. That whole like reskin hoax, you need to remove it from your brain because it's not true. It's simply not true. And I that's what I wanted to talk about today. Jesus Christ. 46 minutes. I was recording this thinking this was going to be like 20 minutes, but this really got out of hand. But you know what? It felt good. It felt good. And yeah, that's it. Nobody's gonna watch this, but if you do, if you watched this far into it, that's insane. So, I don't know. Let me know if you want me to yap more about anime. I'm not even gonna fucking edit this. I'm gonna put the spoilers for the anime that's in the beginning and then just post this. So, I don't know. I like anime. ReZero is so dark. This is my Hashira ranking. And Windbreaker is not a reskinned Tokyo Revengers. And that's what I wanted to say today. Farewell.